UFC 317 International Fight Week, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira is right around the corner. And I hate to say it, but this is another lackluster pay-per-view, and that's not it. UFC 318, I don't know if you've taken a look at UFC 318 yet. Main event, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, horrific UFC pay-per-view. I don't know if you've taken a look at UFC 319. I know the main event, Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev, makes up for whatever it's going to be, and we don't have the complete card yet, even though we're 2 months out. 319 isn't looking that great either. The UFC is conditioning fans to accept these dog shit cards. It'll be shit card after shit card after horrible card after atrocious card after shit card. And then when we get, oh, this card's all right, it's kind of decent, it's kind of mid, then everyone's like, oh man, this is such a great card. This is such a great card. That's what's happening with UFC 317. UFC 317 isn't the worst card ever, but the fans have been so conditioned by the UFC for these horrible Apex cards, and event after event is lackluster. Now we get 317, which isn't that great, especially for International Fight Week. And now people are like, oh yeah, man, can't wait for UFC 317. We finally get a decent card, even though it's not that good. This is a slippery slope. I've been talking about it for years. When we accept this horrible product, it's just going to get worse and worse. I've been screaming from the rooftop about undeserved title shots for years. Look at where we are in 2025. Dana White is checked out, okay? He's running on neutral. He does not care about the organization anymore. And I want to start off with this because I want to look at some things. I want to look over the cards and go over the cards. I want to start with a clip from like the early UFC 316 pre-fight press conference, because this really shows the state of where Dana White is in terms of being the UFC president and CEO. Listen to this. He's asked, Dana, what made you make Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2, even though Sean O'Malley got dominated in the first fight? And listen to Dana's answer.
Then my final question for Dana. Dana, straight ahead. Like I said, Merab could have had his pick against any of these bantamweight contenders. So for you, why was this the fight that you felt should have been made?
This is the fight that people wanted to see. Except for these 6 guys over here.
He didn't even have an answer. He did not even have it. I mean, listen to, if this isn't, I mean, I know this is only, what, a 15-second clip. If this isn't the encapsulation of where Dana White stands right now with the UFC, I don't know what is. Listen to it one more time.
This is the fight that you felt should have been made.
This is the fight that people wanted to see. Except for these 6 guys over here.
Nobody wanted to see that fight, Dana. It wasn't just those 6 guys over there. Nobody wanted to see that fight. But he has to say something. He didn't know what to say. He caught him off guard. He didn't even know what to say there. He could have said, you know what? O'Malley, he was injured. We knew he was injured. We wanted to give him a second opportunity. He could have just made up some bullshit. He could have said, Merab, really, he was tired of the O'Malley excuses. He wants to prove it wasn't a fluke. He could have made up any horse shit and everyone would have accepted it. But he's like, this is the fight the fans want to see. If he really believes that, think about how disconnected he is from the audience. And then, I didn't barely cover these cards. We had these Apex events back to back in May. I mean, this was just, I'm not going to go through every single fight on the card. Co-main event, Marion Santos, Sadiq Yusuf. That is a co-main event in 2025. Look at this card. I'm not going to go through it because this is already in the past now. One of the worst fight night cards of all time. Then, the very next week, we get Blanchfield Barber, which didn't even actually happen because Blanchfield pulled out, Barber pulled out last second. One of the worst posters I've ever seen in my life. Look at this. It looks like someone leaned on a keyboard here. Look at this card. Mateusz Gamrot, Ludovic Klein ended up being the main event. That's how horrible this card was. The main event got canceled. This is what we got. Ramiz Brahimov versus Billy Ray Goff was the co-main event of a fight card in 2025. And then soon thereafter, we get UFC 316. This was an okay card in retrospect, but on paper, it was dog shit. Merab O'Malley, too, undeserved title shot. Should have never happened. O'Malley should have never got the opportunity. And since when does anyone getting a Dana White privilege undeserved title shot, when do they ever win? When do they ever win? Co-main event, Kayla Harrison, Juliana Pena, decent fight on paper. Joe Pyfer, Kelvin Gastelum, featured fight, Mario Batista, Patchy Mix, decent fight. So it wasn't like the worst card ever, but a bit lackluster for a pay-per-view. But that's not all. That's not all. I want to get to the future cards because that's what really matters. UFC 317 International Fight Week, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Goes down June 28th in Las Vegas. International Fight Week. That used to mean something. That used to mean something in this community. And I know it sounds like I'm being satirical here. It used to mean something. International Fight Week, they used to say, oh, this is a Super Bowl for MMA. This is a Super Bowl for the UFC. We're going to put on the biggest and best card we can possibly put together. This is what we have. This is what we're getting. Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira. It's a decent fight. It's a decent fight. Charles Oliveira doesn't deserve a title shot. He's on a one-fight win streak over bummy-ass Michael Chandler. Should be Arman Tsarukyan, but Arman pulled out with an injury, so he's on Dana White's shit list. Okay, it's still a decent main event. But you would think without that mega main event, we'd at least get a really, really solid undercard. Pantoja, Kai Kara France, decent title fight. Paulo Costa on a featured fight of International Fight Week is a complete fucking disgrace. He may not even show up. Let alone actually fight when he's in there. That's the featured fight. Then you have Beneil Dariush versus Anato Moicano. That's a decent fight. This is supposed to be International Fight Week level. And I know 303 was horrible last year, which was International Fight Week. But that was because Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler was supposed to be the main event. Never happened, even though Michael Chandler guaranteed the fans it would happen for literal years. But because Conor's such a draw, they put it on a shit card underneath of it because they knew nobody would care. This is your international fight. I mean, look at this. We don't know what's going to be on the main card anymore because let's give the UFC some leadway. There's been some cancellations. We don't know what's going to be on the main card anymore since we lost Renato Diniz versus Justin Tafa. This was on the main card. This garbage-ass heavyweight NPC fight was on the main card when the UFC initially unveiled the UFC 317 card. Then you have Brandon Royval, Manel Kape, which was a decent fight. Manel Kape's a complete bum, pull-out merchant, steroid cheat, who cheats in every fight, literally against bums just to get wins. And then people overhype him because he used a homophobic slur once in a post-fight interview. But that's besides the point. So even with these two fight cancellations, it's not like they lost mega fights. I actually think they gained something. I really think they gained something because now you have Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. I'm assuming that's going to be on the main card. That should be on the main card. And listen, I don't think 317 is a complete dog shit card. That's not what I'm saying here. We're going to get to dog shit in a minute with UFC 318, which may be the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen in my entire life. Maybe not. Maybe that's a little bit over-exaggeratory. But this is international. Would you guys think this is the Super Bowl of MMA? Hanata Diniz versus Alvin Hines. Nico Price, Jacob Smith. Hyder Emil versus Jose Delgado. Terrence McKinney, Vyacheslav Borshov. Jack Hermanson, Gregory Rodriguez. Vivian Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. In the main card, there's nothing. There's nothing that gets you out of your seat other than the main event, Topuria Oliveira, an undeserved lightweight title shot. Nothing. I mean, who cares about Paulo Costa, Roman Khabibulov? I barely care about Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano. It's a decent fight. I'm glad we're not getting it as like a main event of an Apex card. But, I mean, this is the best the UFC has to offer. You think back, even like 311 was better than this card. UFC 310 was arguably better than this card before they lost Bilal versus Shavkat. UFC 308, Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway, co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev, and it was stacked underneath of that. Magomed Ankalaev, Johnny Walker. That card was way better than what is supposed to be International Fight Week here. Look, guys, we're heading down a slippery slope towards shit card after shit card, and this is not an International Fight Week level card. Again, it's a decent card. It's not the worst. But to act like this is up to International Fight Week standards is crazy. I would honestly, if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, like a 9 being UFC 300, This is like a 6 or a 5, 5.5 maybe. It's really not that good, but that's besides the point. Okay, that's besides the point because I'm done with UFC 317. Let's take a look at UFC 318. Holloway versus Poirier 3. I mean, they're going to New Orleans for Dustin Poirier's retirement fight, the BMF title fight. Well, it's a BMF title fight is the main event, so surely they're going to stack the card underneath of it, correct? Guys, there's 12 fights announced for this card already. Look, 12 fights right here. Right now, Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen's the co-main event. This is co-main event of a pay-per-view in 2025. What a complete and utter embarrassment. Who cares about Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen? Oh my God. Oh my, they got into a brawl in a casino at one point in time and they threw stuff at each other. That makes it co-main event material for a pay-per-view numbered card that already has a less than stellar main event. Don't get me wrong, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway 3 is okay for the third time for a fake-ass BMF title. This is the quality of a card we're getting now. Dan Ige, Patricio Pitbull, featured fight on the card. Adam Fugit versus Islam Dolatov. Fourth fight down. I don't even know what else they don't even know what they're going to put on the main card. The only 3 main card fights we guaranteed right now are these 3. Look at the rest of the card. You guys tell me, are they going to put Ikram Alaskarov, Bruno Silva on the main card? It's a decent fight. Look at this. This is a pay-per-view card now. This is a pay-per-view card now, boys. It honestly depresses me. Like when I look at a pay-per-view card and there's one fight, maybe 2, that I'm mildly interested in seeing, that they're going to charge me $80 plus tax for, we have a huge problem. I mean, this is one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen. You guys let me know if I'm being over-exaggeratory here. You have the BMF title, not the biggest fight in the world, a fight that's now a trilogy, a fake WWE belt. Don't get me wrong, it should deliver. Both guys are exciting fighters. But before that, we're going to watch Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Whoever booked Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen as a co-main event of a pay-per-view should be thrown in prison. What else is going to be on the main card? Again, the UFC puts 12, 13 fights. There's room for one more fight on this card. What are they going to throw on the main card? Carly Judas versus Nicole Kalari? I don't even know if that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm at a loss for words. This is one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen. So we have a less than stellar UFC 317, which is International Fight Week. We have a dog shit UFC 318 pay-per-view card. I was like, you know what? What about 319? We got a banger main event for UFC 319. We have Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. I want to give a full disclaimer. As good as this main event is, I basically don't care about the rest of the card, but right now we have 8 fights totally announced. It's not looking great, boys. Look at this. And if you think the UFC, with worse main events in UFC 318 and 317, are putting kind of shitty cards on underneath of that, even for International Fight Week, they have a banger, best fight of 2025 on paper put together. You think they're going to stack this undercard? Right now we got Tim Elliott, Kaya Sakura on the main card. Jarrett Cannonier versus MVP on the main card. After that, we don't know. Now, granted, there's room for 5 more fights. Maybe they add some more notable fights to the card. I was really hoping for Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Borralho for the number 1 contender spot. Maybe they throw Adesanya Strickland on this card and it makes it look a lot better. But if any other pay-per-view that comes before it is an indication, I mean, think about this year. Think about this year. 311 was really good. 312, which was Strickland DDP2, was an abomination. I'm not going to pull it up right now. 313 was okay. It had Pereira Ankalaev as the main event. Had decent undercard. Not great. 314, not good. 315, not good, even though it ended up delivering. 316, not good. Every pay-per-view this year. There's not one pay-per-view you can look at and be like, damn, I can't wait for that fight card. This is what we're getting nowadays. It's just sad, man. And it all comes back to this Dana White. This Dana White right here. Let's play him again.
This is the fight that you felt should have been made.
This is the fight that people wanted to see. Except for these 6 guys over here.
This is the fight the fans wanted to see. And to top it all off, luckily, I'm hoping it's not going to happen anymore, boys. I'm hoping it's not going to happen. 320, which was supposed to take place in mid-September, it was UFC Noche, was canceled as a pay-per-view. It's now a fight night card. It's been moved to San Antonio. It was in Guadalajara, Mexico. It was being reported that Yair Rodriguez was going to get a title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. I'm hoping with all the backlash and the fact that UFC Noche is no longer a pay-per-view, that they do the right thing and give Movsar Evloev a title shot. Because if we got to go from 319 to 320, which is crazy because 320 is until like October 4th, I believe it is. So we're going a month and a half without a UFC pay-per-view. If they return for UFC 320 and it's another dog shit pay-per-view, what's next year going to look like? I'm praying, guys, the only saving grace we can hope for is the new streaming rights deal kicks the UFC in the ass and say, look, we want less cards. We want better quality. We just got to hope and pray for that. Because right now, what we have for 319, again, I forgive it because of the main event on 319, it's lackluster. It's not good. I mean, this card right now as it stands, I'd give this, I don't know, the main event, I can't grade 319 because the main event, I'm just too biased. Love the main event. 318 is literally like a 2 out of 10. It's like a 2 out of 10. International Fight Week, I already went over it. It's like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. The UFC is feeding us dog shit cards. Then when we get a mid card, everyone's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, man, International Fight Week, so damn good. And you have the degenerate gamblers who are like, man, I got units on I got 5 units on Macy Barbara. They're hyping up shit cards. Like, if you don't like it, don't watch, brother. No. The UFC is putting together garbage cards, and then you guys are accepting it, and it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. It is the definition of a slippery slope. Look at undeserved title shot after undeserved title shot after undeserved title shot happening nowadays. I wanted to make a video about it because International Fight Week looked horrible for International Fight Week. 318 looked terrible. We still have to give 319 a chance, especially with an amazing main event. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.